So good morning, everybody. Today, it is June 15th. It's 10:30 a.m. And today we are fortunate because we have in from Joyzy,
Joyzy.
Judy Schryver, who is our senior learning specialist. I don't know completely what that means, but she's good at what she does. And she's not old like me. So Judy's come in today to work with us on a couple of things as managers, mentors, and if you're new into the business as mentees, there's this thing called Goal Projector. Along with that, if we've been through AMP, we have the REScoreboard. All of this is going to look familiar. And as we move forward with the mentor program, we're going to begin reporting our numbers in a tool that Judy has helped put together for us called an activity tracker. And we were blessed to have these guys in town. Paula Law is in with us here today also. So if you would, I'm going to turn it over. Please welcome Miss Judy Schryver.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Take that off there. So I'm so glad to see you all here today. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for those of you guys who are joining us here online. As you said, my name is Judy Schryver. I'm one of the senior learning specialists, and I support our Coldwell Banker affiliates with anything that has to do with learning. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm really excited about what you guys are doing and the activity tracker and the speedboard challenge that we are going to be talking about for your office. So we're going to talk a little bit, first I told Darwin, we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting, and then we're going to jump into the activity tracker and show you how you can be accountable to the activities that you're doing that are going to help you meet those goals. So you guys all on board with me here?
Yes.
Thank you. I was going to say, okay, let's try that again. Are you guys all on board with me here?
Yeah.
Awesome. So for those of you guys, so I'm so glad that you all showed up because, you know, one of the things that's so important is making sure that you've got a roadmap to where you want to go. So we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting. How many of you guys have taken some time to sit down and really plan out what your daily activities are that are going to help you meet your financial goals? Raise your hands. Okay, we got a couple people, and that is great. And so what I really want you guys to walk away with is a plan, a roadmap, and really a concrete idea of what you need to be doing every single day in order to meet your financial goals. Why is this important? Yep. Yes, if you have no plan, you're planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Thank you very much. So we're going to take some time to go through this exercise. And the other thing I also want to talk a little bit about is, you know, your business. And if you think about your business and what we do as real estate agents, and by the way, I am a licensed real estate agent. I've been training with Coldwell Banker for over 4 years. So I've walked your walk. I know exactly what you guys go through, at least in my market. I know it's pretty similar. So as you're thinking about setting your goals, when you think about your business, how long does it take once you get a contract to get to a closed sale? Approximately 30 days, could be maybe 45 days. Okay, so 30 to 45 days. How long does it take for you to have a contact with somebody to get to that closed sale? Or sorry, to the contract?
Sometimes that first meeting.
Sometimes the first meeting, right? It could be an hour, not even.
6 months, year.
It could be 6 months, could be a year. NAR says that on average, it takes about 50 days for a contact to become a sale. And then if you tack on another 30 to 45 days, let's just make it 45 if we're looking at sort of the long term here, that's almost 100 days. That's 95 days from a contact to a closed sale. So the contacts that you're making today, when is that business going to come to fruition? When are you going to get a paycheck in your hand if that is the average? October. So right now, the things that you're doing today are actually business that you're going to close in October. How does that feel? we got a guffaw for those of you at home. How does that feel? Painful, right? But do you guys think it's reality? Am I like making these things up? Right? So sometimes we have to really plan what we're doing today. And really what I want you to think about is, why are we doing this? Why do you do what you do? I mean, I know I did this for myself, for my family, because I loved real estate. I loved being in an industry where I could help people with, frankly, the largest financial purchase they probably will ever make and the largest investment they will ever have. So for me, when I got up every day, I had to really remind myself, why am I doing this? Because what I'm doing today is not going to come to fruition for at least a couple months. Let's say, maybe it's 3-4 months, right? But 3 months, 100 days, 90 days, 3 months. So I want you to really think about when you are, getting up every single day, and those days where you just don't feel like making those contacts that you probably should be making, that we all know that we should be making, right? I want you to think about what I do today is going to impact my business down the road. So that's why it's really important that we set those goals. And we're going to help you by breaking it down into really manageable bite-sized pieces for you so that you understand each activity that you need to do in order to meet those financial goals. Are you guys with me? All right. So for those of you who brought your computer, feel free to follow along. Alana is going to be my assistant here, who is going to share her screen and go through this with you. We're going to show you how you can use our tools to be accountable to your activities and to meet your financial goals. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to help you set those financial goals. All right. So what we're going to do is Darwin has set up something called the activity tracker, and it's the speed board, the professional speed board. So the way that you find this, if you want to sign up for this, and I hope you all do, is you go to the learning library. I'm going to do it up here, and we're going to have Alana follow along, sharing her screen online. And then up in the top right-hand corner, you can just start typing activity, and it's going to come up. So the activity tracker, if you want to go there, you click learn more. And then you can go either here to register here, or down here, there's a little blue button that says register here as well. I'm going to click there. So now we're signing up for this challenge that they've put forth for you guys that is going to help you to meet your goals. All right. So here we have the Coldwell Banker Professional Speed Board. Now we've set this up basically from the beginning of June until October 13th. So you guys have all summer. So that business that you're talking about that you're doing today that's going to come to fruition in October, when you come to October, you're going to have a lot of numbers that are in those closed columns. That's the goal. So then you want to register for this. So I'm going to register myself. And now I've successfully joined the class. So now I want to search for my REScoreboard. REScoreboard is the Fitbit for your business. So if you go to REScoreboard, the next thing you want to do, and the reason I'm having Alana do this is because I have both agent and leadership views of this. So I'm going to have Alana share online so you can see what, so the folks at home can see what the agent views are. So then if you haven't calculated your goals, you go into calculate my goals. So then I'm going to go to average. I think this is where I go to find it. All right, hold on. Nope. See here. Sorry. Okay, let's go to dashboard. Well, for you, you're just going to go to calculate your goals. All right.
Actually, you're seeing first
You may have both. Yeah, you may have both views as well, Mike. What's that? Okay. All right, cool. Go to dashboard. Yep. All right. So then on the activity tracker here, there's a little spot for calculate my goals. Now you may have a little bit of a different view on yours. She's already there. She got to skip a step. I had to select which goals I wanted to set forth. All right. So this is really powerful because you can actually go through this exercise. If you don't know what your financial goals are or not what your financial goals should be, you can go through this exercise. So the first thing that it asks you is, what are your goals? What are your financial goals for the year? Now you can click on this and there's a drop down. You can select one of these, whether it be a new car, a retirement fund, savings, a family vacation, or college tuition. You can put those in there.
From Leslie
Or
Coldwell
you can
Banker.
put
Do
anything.
you want to read or send?
There you go. You can create your own. You can put whatever you want in there. Trying to think of what a goal would be that's other than that, but you could just start typing and it will put it in. And then you can put over here what you need to meet that goal. So it gives you 3 options. So you can go through this exercise and put in your goals if you want, how much you're going to need for each. Then it will ask you, what are your estimated bills? What do you owe? What's your cell phone? What's your mortgage? What's your, all your utilities, all those things that you have that are those monthly reoccurring bills that you need to pay. You can put in your estimated bills. You can put in a dollar number there. You can put in how much you want to save. And you can also put in any additional real estate expenses. So if you have a coach or you've got a marketing person or you hired an assistant, you could put those expenses in there. Anybody have any questions so far?
Do we put our taxes in there?
I would put your taxes in there. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good way to do it because you know that you've got to take those out. So it's going to say like, if you need, $100,000, but you got to spend $25,000 in taxes, then you may want to make that 125 as your goal. That's why you can go through this exercise, how you see fit, to make sure that you are setting those financial goals as you'd like. Now, a lot of people just come to me and they say, you know what, I don't really want to go through this exercise. I just know how much I want to make this year, right? So we're just going to use the example of $100,000. So I'm just going to put it in this line, the last line, the additional real estate expenses. I'm just going to put it in one of those 3 lines. So you can just add it there. And then I'm going to go down to my activity goals. So then what I need to know is I need to know what is the average sales price in the market that I sell homes in. So we're going to use the example of, Alana, how much do you want to use? $175,000 is what we're going to use. Yep, sorry, I'm on the wrong line here. 175,000. Okay, now that might be different in the market that you're working in. So know what your average sales price is. Average commission percentage per side.
Like a 2.5%.
Sure, we'll use 2.5%. All right, and then for this example, everybody probably we may have differing commission split percentages. We're just going to use a straight 60% for this, just for the example's sake. So then we get down into this part where it asks us the average number of appointments needed to close one transaction. If I go on 3 listing appointments, I'm going to close 1 transaction. That's what NAR tells me. And it will show you here, if you click on or you hover over that information, if you don't know, 3 is a good starting point. That is a NAR statistic that says 3 appointments will result in 1 transaction. If you meet with 3 buyers, you're going to get 1 buyer out of it. 3 listings appointments, you're going to get 1 listing out of it. Does that sound about right? Now your average, maybe even, well, you may only go on 2 appointments and get your listings, or you might go on 4 appointments and get 1 listing. So put in what you know, but if you don't know what that number is right now, 3 is a great number to start with. Anybody have any questions so far? So then it's going to ask you, how many weeks do you want to work this year?
How many weeks are you gonna work?
There's 52 weeks in a year.
It's like 48.
48 is a good number. You take 4 weeks off during the year. Some people that may be different. Some people might be not working as much over the summer, or, you have certain things that are going to prevent you from working those weeks. So that number is up to you, but let's use the number 48.
And
as an
a neat
example.
part is if we plan for it, we can do that. Take a
Absolutely.
week off every quarter. If you're working that hard, you're going to need a week off every quarter. So it is realistic to say, I'm going to plan for 48 weeks. We just got to plan.
And this is the whole idea. And thank you, Darwin. The whole idea is this is setting forth that plan, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So that's why we're really taking a good look at this. So we're going to put in 48 weeks. You get 4 weeks off. So then the next and last thing it's going to ask you is the average number of contacts, people that you need to talk to about real estate that is going to result in 1 appointment. Anybody want to take a guess as to what that number is? Alana, you can't because I already told you. Anybody? What's that? So I think that might be the average for your company or even for your business. NAR, if you hover over that little information, NAR tells us that in the real estate industry, it takes 30 people that you're going to talk to about real estate to result in one appointment. But if you have a different number than that, like if you've been in the business a while and you can go back and you can do that discernment on your business and track, your number might be less. I think the Coldwell Banker average is closer to 10. But for the sake of this, we're just going to use 30.
And we don't want to make it sound too easy.
Right. So 30 could be a goal. You could put in 20, whatever you feel, however you feel, if you're really amazing at, closing these contacts to get that appointment, then, you may have already done that sort of evaluation or assessment of your business. You may already know that number. So now that's the last thing we're going to put in here. And then I'm going to click calculate my activity goals. So then down at the bottom here, you're going to see them come up. So if I want to make $100,000, then I need to make 15 contacts, and I'm going to go over that in just a second, and get 3 appointments a week with either a buyer or a seller. So if you're talking about a contact, who can define what a contact is for me? You actually talk to somebody. Sir, can anybody expand on that?
I'm gonna say hello on the
Anyone
phone.
you come in contact with.
Hello.
What was that?
Gotta say hello on the phone,
they
not the
say-
kid.
Yep. So if they say hello on the phone, you actually talk to a person. Let's take that one step further. What then needs to result from that contact, that outreach? It's a qualifier, right? You need to be talking about real estate. You just need to be talking about real estate. It needs to be a dialogue, right? So a contact we define as an in-person, face-to-face, voice-to-voice, text to text, email to email. Doesn't have to be an actual live in-person conversation, but it has to be a dialogue about real estate. So if you text someone and say, hey, how are you doing? I was just driving through your neighborhood. I hope you're doing well. How are you liking the house that you bought last year, right? And they never respond to you, that's not a contact yet. When does it become a contact? Yeah, when you get a response or a follow-up, and now you've got a dialogue that has something to do with real estate, and then you can continue that conversation. Hey, I'd love to get together for coffee. Do you know of anybody who wants to move into your neighborhood? Who's the next person that you know who might be willing, that is thinking about making a change in your neighborhood that I could talk to about real estate? So it's opening that conversation, but then the back and forth has to be about real estate in order for it to be a contact. Now, you don't, again, we do a lot of texting. I love texting. We do this thing called texting in 12. And who was just telling me about, it was Greg yesterday was telling me about an app that he uses that you can text a whole bunch of people with the same text, but it comes through as individual texts. I can't remember what it was called for the life of me, but I'm going to look it up because texting is a great way to get to people. Because why do we not want to call people? What's happening in people's lives? Everything. They're working. They may not be available at the time that you're available. And I always say that the best time to prospect, when's the best time to prospect? Morning. Anybody else have a answer? After dinner time. What's that? Evenings. When you can talk to them. And that's the key. Because I will ask you also, when is the worst time to prospect? Midnight when they're sleeping. Some people would say the morning because they're working. Some people would say the evening because they're making dinner and they're with their family. So the same reasons that it's also good times to prospect could also be flipped to say that it's a bad time to prospect. So the best time to prospect is whenever you're going to do it. So just keep that in mind. Texting is a great solution to that because you can text them and then they're going to text you back whenever they are ready, right? So we know that, right? Sometimes you just look at your phone and you're like, I'll get back to that later when I'm not in the middle of a meeting. So think about this outreach that you need to be doing every day. When you set your business goals, it really will give you that foundation. Now, if I need to make 15 daily contacts, what do I then need to do with that information? Yeah, so what do? You just say, oh, tomorrow at some point, I'm just gonna do that. You got to make a plan. Well, how do you make that plan?
Write it down.
Write it down, put it in your schedule, time block it. Now it could be texting, it could be emailing, it could be phone calls, it could be the calls to the for sale by owners, it could be calls to those expireds. I don't know how many of those are kicking around lately, but you know, you really need to think about blocking that time to do it. How many of you have done that? Have taken the time to time block on your schedule time to prospect? And what was the result?
I don't do it as much as I used to, but the first 10 years of my business, I'm extremely organized and ran on a calendar. Like never even made an appointment during that time. First 3 hours of the day.
So you didn't make an appointment during that time. The first 3 hours of the day, you sat, you time blocked, and
They're happier in the morning, I found, than they are in the evening. So that's why I always take calls in the morning.
there you go. So that worked for you, making calls in the morning. You found that people had more energy. Maybe you had more energy, like you were happier, you know, whatever. So whatever works for you. Okay, over here, you said you also time block and make some appointments. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like?
I do mine differently because I am always on my kids' schedules. So I do like 15 minutes throughout the day, but I break it out to like 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
I love it. So we have two different ways, completely different. One person says, I block 3 hours in the morning to do it. The other person says, I'm on the go the entire time. And so I just break it down into chunks of 15 to 30 minutes whenever I can, right? That makes sense. And what's the result from that you typically get?
Mine's usually pretty good. I call during school pickup hours. So I usually get all the people who are in line waiting for their kids to get off the bus or get out of school. So that's usually my first time.
There you go. So she's doing it while she's sitting in her car, waiting to pick up her kids at school. We've all been there. If we've got kids, we've all been in that car pickup line. And so that's a great use of your time. So thank you for sharing that, both of you. But the key is that you really got to do it. Are you guys willing to make that commitment that's going to help grow your business?
Yes.
It's like, I'll wait all day for an answer. And you know what? And I can see the hesitation. So let's talk about why you're hesitating potentially.
I don't do my call time every day either. I pick days, so I do 2 different days a week. I don't do that every single day.
So I love that. So she says she picks 2 different days a week to prospect. And you need to be honest with yourself how many days a week you're going to prospect. So if it says I need 15 daily contacts, and that means that it's going to be 7 days a week. Well, if I'm only going to prospect 3 days a week, then I have to really ramp up what I'm doing during those 3 days. So thank you for bringing that up, because that's really important. All this is really just taking a really critical look at how you do your business and how you want to grow your business. So that's setting your contacts. All right. So now we have our goals. You can always go in here and you can revise them. This is not a static exercise. I would highly recommend that you can refine, your goals as you go along. You could also look at this and say, this is what I want to do between now and the end of the year. And then at the beginning of the year, if you're doing some business planning for the following year or December or November of this year, you can always go back in and revise these. So that's how you will go back. That's how you will set your goals. It makes it really easy for you to go in and understand what that roadmap looks like. All right. So now that we've set your goals, I'm going to go to back to the REScoreboard. All right. I already go to dashboard. Where's my scoreboard? And then up here, I want to go to my leaderboards. So the leaderboards are what we just signed up for. Oh, sorry, this does this sometimes, gets a little finicky. There we go. So now you're going to see who has signed up for the leaderboard. And this is the leaderboard for the activity, the speed board in your office. All right. So it's kind of fun because you get like a little friendly competition here. You can see what other people are doing. I know that motivates some people. I know that motivates me, but it's up to you. So you could go to the leaderboard and see where you are. And you can also track your daily activity. So once you go into you go to down here it'll show you where you are against those goals. So if I update my activity on a daily basis, all right, this is going to show me, okay, on this date. Now you can change that date if you want to go in and put it in what you did yesterday. So far today, I've made 9 contacts. All right. I have 1 appointment this week, but there's other things that you can track too. You can track buyer agreements that you have. You can track listing agreements that you've gotten. You could track offers written, pending sales, market repositioning if you're doing any price adjustments, open houses that you're doing, referrals that you've gotten today, recruiting contacts. Nope, that's not, these are all the leadership stuff. Okay. So you'll get up through referral. What's that? Listing sold is the other one. Thank you. So you'll have listings sold as well. And what you're going to find is this number, the contacts, the more that number grows, what do you think is going to happen? The more the rest grows. And that's the whole idea. We want you to see this as, you know, an ongoing way that you can just track your progress. Okay. So now, once I've put that in, it's going to tell me, did I meet my goal today? How much more do I need to go? So I've got 9 out of 11 contacts that I'm making today, because that was what my goal was that I set. I've got 1 out of 2 appointments this week. So this is going to tell you where you are to meeting your goals. Now you can also go in and, you know, you can add additional goals for the rest of it. So you can, you know, put in some of these, the goals for open, actually, no, let's see, how do we put in the open house goal? You may not be able to do that. Oops. Let's see. Okay, so you can go and you can manually go to update activity, and you could manually put in what, like I have a, no, wait, that's not where I want to be. I want to go to where I can put in my goals. Edit goals. So I can go to edit goals here. And so you can easily just edit any of these goals. So if I say like, okay, I want to get 2 referrals a day, let's say even one referral today, just edit goals. Yeah. So I could say I would like to get, you know, 4 listing, let's say 3 listing appointments a month. I want to have, you know, 3 offers written this month. So you could set these goals however you want. Recruiting, no, that's not it. Referrals, yeah, and listings sold. So let's say I want to get, you know, I want to have 3 listings, 2 listings a month. So you can then save those goals, and then you can track towards those goals. What do you guys think of this tool? Yeah. So I would highly recommend that you go in and you really kind of think about like, what are my financial goals, and really break down what it's going to take for you to get there. Does it feel more manageable when you break it down into individual little, you know, daily nuggets of what you need to be doing? So does anybody want to share? Did anybody go through this with their goals? Did you? I know we use just different examples. Did anybody else go through and put their goals in for the ones who are online? Can you share with us what your daily contacts?
It's 6.
6? That's pretty manageable, right? Now, where are you going to find these people? Let's talk about that for a little bit. What's that?
Everywhere that you find people.
Everywhere that you find people. You'd be surprised how many conversations I used to have in the grocery store deli line. It's weird. But I'd always wear my Cobo Banker name tag, and I would just strike up conversations with people. I live in this like little town where we have a post office that we have to go to. I don't even have a mailbox in front of my house. Don't ask, it's really weird. But it's like Mayberry, if anybody's, I'm dating myself. It's like old town thing. But every time I go into the post office, sure enough, I would bump into somebody. So I would like plan my post office run when I was like dressed and was doing kind of business, and I was out and about for the day, and I was kind of in that professional mode because I always knew that I was going to bump into somebody at the post office. How else do you meet them? Where else can you meet them? Grocery stores, right? They're really good. Yeah. Walking, dogs. If you have a dog and you take your dog for dogs and babies attract people, right? They want to talk to you, and that's a great way to, even if you don't have a dog, just being friendly to people is always a good way. Where else? Let's start thinking about where we can find these people. Get out in your community, network in those business organizations that are there for exactly that reason. Where else?
Social media.
Talk to us a little bit about social media.
I mean, you have so many people on there, kids you went to high school with, you know, your cousins, their cousins. You have so many friends on there that you have, you know, contacts right at your fingertips.
Yeah. So what do you do with that? What do you do with all those people that you know from everywhere in your life?
Engage in their posts that they put on their Facebook statuses, or if they're looking for recommendations on something, give them something, and then it sparks a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody on? Thank you.
We got sporting events too for kids.
Sporting events, absolutely. I talked to a lot of people sitting on the side of a baseball field wearing my Coldwell Banker baseball hat. Yep. My son doesn't play baseball anymore. It's very sad. Where else? Anything else online? Anybody else have any
No, that
suggestions
was the
on the
only one.
virtual
Any-
folks?
The only one that popped up now. Anybody else?
Volunteering at the school.
Volunteering at the school, sure.
The social media, they say 80% personal. Because people really think personal. and just like real estate and other things.
I like that. So do you have a business Facebook page or a personal Facebook page or both? Both, right? Yep. Actually, there was an agent up in New Jersey, super successful agent. And he said, you know, I always took social media very seriously. I took my business page very seriously. I would always post about different things in real estate. And then the pandemic hit and I was posting things about real estate, but I couldn't get my hair cut. It's like my hair was getting really long and really kind of crazy. So I posted a picture of myself and just threw it on my business Facebook page and said, need everybody's opinion. You know, like, what did they say? Like, you know, get a haircut or like, let it go. And he said, I got more engagement to that post because it showed me that people are people, they want to know what's going on in your life. I think the verdict was let it go. So he eventually got a cut. So, you know, think about ways that you can utilize social media. Now, if you are on social media and you contact somebody or you like a post, let's say, for example, is that considered a contact? No. When might that be considered a contact? Yeah, if like they say, you know, if you post either something like, oh my gosh, like that's great, or you ask a question and then they engage with you about real estate, or you take them off that conversation offline and they engage about real estate, then that becomes a contact. All right, we're missing one really big one. So we're talking about like, where can you meet people that we don't know, but what's another contact? What's another whole bucket of contacts that you could be making on a daily basis? Your sphere of influence. Would you guys agree that that is like probably the best way to reach out? And what does that conversation look like?
For me personally, like on the weekends, I hang out with a lot of my family and just like around the bonfire, just talking like, how's it going? How's work? What are you up to? And then it kind of leads into that conversation. Yeah. You know what I always tell people, and this is what she was just saying, you just ask people questions. You have those relationships with the people that you know. If you're on the phone with somebody and you're like, hey, how's it going? It's been a while since I've talked to you. You know, I was driving through your neighborhood. I thought of you. How's everything going? How are the kids? How's the husband? How's the dog? Did you go on vacation this year? Right? And you're asking a bunch of questions. You're finding out what's going on in their life. How does that conversation naturally turn? They ask you questions, right? How they want to know what's going on in your life. And I used to always kind of be like quasi-calculated about it. Like when I first started, I started in May as a real estate agent and I had all summer and I was just doing open houses for anybody who would give me an open house because everybody wanted to go on vacation. So I did a ton of open houses every weekend. And people are like, oh, you know, how's your summer going? Right? Or how did your summer go in the fall? I'd be like, oh my gosh, my summer's going really great. The weather's been beautiful. The kids have been home. You know, every weekend though, I've been super busy. I just started my real estate business. So I've been doing a lot of open houses and it's been great. And then that gets you into that conversation about real estate. But then I would also tell you, turn the conversation back around. Don't keep it only about real estate because that's just you don't want to be that person that every time the phone rings, they look at the phone and go, oh, I'm not answering that. All they want to talk about is real estate, right? So think about ways that you could just have around the bonfire when you're sitting at the beach, when you're, you know, just bumping into your friends at the grocery store, how you can have those natural conversations with them. So kind of think that through. Anybody have any other suggestions? Volunteer work. Yeah. I would say like get out in your community. Right? Give and you will receive. It's at least my personal belief. I know everybody has, you know, different beliefs, but I believe the more you give, the more you get. So go out and be generous with your time and helping people. Absolutely.
Somebody say church.
Yep. Yeah. Any of your religious organizations, church, synagogue, wherever you go, then absolutely. Good.
So now I think you guys have a lot of kind of ideas as to how you're going to go out and make these contacts. I encourage each and every one of you to join the speed board, to join the leaderboard, to set your goals so that you can start working towards them. You know, think about how you can time block your time, your day. How many days do you want to be prospecting? Do you want to be working in this business? And be realistic with yourself, right? If you don't want to work on vacation, don't work on vacation. Take that time to recharge. As Darwin was saying, you know, you might work for 3 weeks, you're going to need that week off, right? So, or you might work for 3 months and you might need a week off. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself as well. So you guys all on board with this? Who's going to join the leaderboard? Alana's like, I'm already there, kind of. I just got to, yeah, awesome. Great. All right, excellent. So I am looking forward to following up with Darwin in October to find out how you guys all did. And I wish you guys all the best with your prospecting. So
Yay.
thank you so much. If anybody has any questions about this, give me a call. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Let me see if I'll come over. Give me 1 second to see if you have both. Anything you want to say, Darwin?
No, I was just going to say, guys, that mentors, if you don't sign up for it, I'll probably add you in. Managers, the same. And if you're a mentee, if you're not in, I will probably put you in. What I'm hoping for is you guys as managers or mentors have to keep tracking. You'll be able to go on and see, and you'll see how you compare to everybody else, how your mentor, or I should say your mentee, is comparing to everybody else, and hopefully we can eliminate one of those reports, because we'll actually know what your goals are. You'll be able to see those against what you are doing. And from a point of a manager, from me in my position and our ability to be able to help you move forward with where you want to go, this is a great tool for us to be able to hit that.
Great. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else before we sign off and call it good for the day here? At least for this part. Otherwise, we got to go talk to people. Our gang's good here. Anybody out there in Zoom land got anything?
While we're waiting there, I do want to thank Alana for being, you know, my Vanna White for today. So thank you for that.
Yay,
Excellent.
yes. And we'll go ahead and thank Bill and Renee for hosting and the whole group here at Lapeer. So guys, that's a wrap. You got questions, give us a call. Otherwise, you know what to do as always. Go talk to people.